Hello everybody, my name is Pangoduck. Welcome to a new series, Battle Brothers, which is a fantastic game. I've only recently discovered it actually, it's been around for ages. Got all kinds of DLC and stuff, but I recently started playing it. Essentially, it's like a low fantasy Mount and Blade, but instead of the real-time combat, you have turn-based combat, top-down, and you have a squad of sort of, somewhere between about sort of 6 and 18-ish dudes. Often 12 is the limit, depends on what kind of start you've chosen. And yeah, it's just really fun. So anyway, this episode is going to be basically just a tutorial. I'm just going to explain how the game works. So if you already know how the game works, then, you know, feel free to skip to episode 1 if you don't want to watch. It's up to you. Episode 1, we will start a whole new save. I'm just going to start a temporary save to go over the basics, because otherwise we're going to get a bit bogged down, and for people who already know how it works, it'll be really boring. So, without further ado, let's just get into it, shall we? I do have the WoW mod installed, World of Warcraft mod. Now, this doesn't really change the base game at all. All it does is add in like the potential for the World of Warcraft classes. And that also includes some starts where we start with them. For example, Holy Power, we start with a Paladin, whereas the base game doesn't have such classes. So, but it doesn't change anything. I've had a little bit of a play with it. It seems okay. If it becomes like super unbalanced or something, then I may well ditch it. But I'm just telling you that's installed. However, for the tutorial, we'll just start with a basic start. There's multiple starts you can have. Like, we're going to start with the new company, which is the standard 3 experienced mercenaries. Because we are a mercenary band. There's a lot of different stuff. You've got cultists. You can start with poachers. You know, 3 woodsmen with bows. But it doesn't matter. Let's go. So we'll just leave it as Battle Brothers. I'm quite happy with that flag. But you can change flags. Look, and have whatever you want. Late game crisis. Okay. So obviously in the late game, some kind of event will happen. That can be nobles at war, which is like 2 warring kingdoms, much like in Mount and Blade it happens all the time, I'm sure if you've played that game. You can have a greenskin invasion, an undead scourge, or even a holy war. And added to that, there's all kinds of like legendary locations around the map with really hard battles. That's kind of like the end game. And once you've defeated late game crisis, you can like retire and leave it there, or you can keep going and there'll be more crisis following. You know, it's kind of open-ended. So for now, we're going to keep on beginner, economic difficulty, beginner combat difficulty, and high starting funds. Now, this is not like beginner like in other games where it's Fisher Price baby's first video game, okay? You still will lose people. People will die. It's not that easy of a game. And I think this is just a more fun way of doing it. You can go harder. The only problem I have with it, and I am of course a new player, but is that then you're kind of encouraged to min-max a bit more. I'll give you an example. If you equip people with daggers, you can attack people and bypass their armor. Therefore you don't really damage the armor as much. So then when you kill them, you have a better chance of looting their armor. And stuff like this. But it's a little bit min-max for me. I want to play in more of a kind of fun, you know, light-hearted kind of story way. So that's why we're going to leave it like this. Honestly, if you're new to the game, just leave it like that. You'll have a great time. It won't be too easy. Iron Man, obviously self-explanatory. And then this is the WoW mod. He's put checkboxes in for the 2 expansions, but they're not implemented yet. You can see at the bottom, this option was not implemented. So I don't know why he's done that when it's not done. But if I turn, you know, we haven't started with any WoW classes. But leaving this on means some of them will spawn in, you know, in the places where we recruit people. There might be one that's a WoW class. I'll just turn it off for the sake of it, for this. Okay. And the last thing to mention is that the seed, the map seed, obviously indicates the map is randomly generated every time. Now, if you wanted to play on the same map as somebody else or your friend or whatever, then you can use the same seed and achieve that a little bit like, you know, like Minecraft and other games where you have a seed and you can get the same world if you want to. Finally, I like to play with unexplored map, which very simply is Fog of War. because I just think it's cooler. So you can't see the whole map immediately. I like to have it a bit more challenging where you can't see. So let's get started. There's a little bit to go through. Actually, it's not that bad. It's not overly complicated, the basic principles of it. Okay, so we have some story intro that I won't bother to read now, but right, here we are on the map. So there we are, our little company. You can see it's paused, much like Mount and Blade. We've got a day-night cycle and 2 speeds we can go at if we're bored walking. We move faster on roads, worth noting, and slower through things like forests and swamps. And we zoom out, look, the map is really big. So all of that's randomly generated. Now, obviously, it sticks to certain rules and principles, because of course it does, but hey, it's really good. So, there we go. Let's talk about our resources quickly. We have crowns, which is obviously money. You can see at the bottom, you pay out 45 crowns per day, so your 2,900 crowns will last you 64 more days. I couldn't see. So you can always look up here to see how much you're paying per day to your men and how many days you've got left with the money you have. Same principle for provisions, which is food. You can see we're using 7 a day and we've got 7 more days. Obviously, you've got to keep people fed. If you have low food, they'll probably leave. Tools and supplies is interesting. Okay, so if you look in the middle, it says 1 point is required to repair 15 points of item condition. So armor and weapons and stuff have durability. Either when you loot them, they'll be bad, durability, or they'll take damage in combat, whatever. You use tools and supplies. Once you sort of unpause and start moving again on the map, it fixes over time to repair any items that you allocate for that. If you've got an item equipped, it'll be automatically allocated, but otherwise you can specifically say, oh, I want to repair that, and it will use up your tools to buy them. Ammunition. Pretty self-explanatory. If you have like a quiver with 10 arrows equipped, and let's say you shoot all 10 arrows during the battle, once you come out of the battle, it will take 10 arrows from here or whatever is required to fill up your quiver. And lastly, medical supplies. Some injuries will heal on their own. It'll be like, okay, this will be healed in 1 to 2 days or, whatever. Some things like more extreme injuries might take medical supplies to actually heal. And if you don't have any medical supplies, they won't heal. Now, all 3 of these resources don't turn up in your inventory, which we'll go to in a minute. Like, you can buy them, they'll be in your inventory, but then as soon as you leave the town, they'll be taken out of your inventory, and then just put up here. So you don't have to sort of carry these physically. You can just look at the number up here once you've added some in, or if you loot some, and they'll be taken out of your inventory and put up here. Okay, lastly, here we have an ambition. After a little while, we'll be able to select an ambition for our mercenaries, whether it be, become friendly with a town, or we're going to destroy a random encampment or whatever. And then once we do that, we'll become more famous. A little bit like Mount and Blade, because you do have sort of a fame thing going on there. Okay, over here, let's just have a little look through the buttons. Obviously, menu, factions and relations. See, we can open it up and see. Obviously, we haven't done anything yet, but you can see people in the different factions and what our relationship is like. We do missions for them. Some houses will be like, oh no, we're too good for you. You're not doing missions for us, in the beginning. So you'll have to go to like a lower tier settlement of theirs and scrap around for a bit. It's cool. And obviously, if there's wars later, you might be hostile towards some of them. Some of the starts, like there's a deserter start, so whoever you've deserted from, you're immediately hostile to. So bear that in mind. Obituary, that's kind of cool for brothers that have died, because you will lose people. It's one of those games. You kind of die, you lose, you just like you either can rebuild quite often, but if you completely die, you just go, okay, and you just go new game and go again. It's fun. Retinue. Oh yes, so you can get specific. Oh, we can buy a cart now. You can get specific followers a bit later on. Like you have to unlock the ability over time to get these, and they're just like again like Mount and Blade, where you'd get sort of like hero followers from a tavern, but these will give you a specific effect. Whether it's like a scout who will let you move quicker, and things like that. So that's worth bearing in mind. In camping, we can camp, and that will just allow us to heal quicker and repair tools quicker for a little while if we just encamp somewhere. I think that's about it. We can toggle whether we see the tracking footprints, because you see footprints behind where people have moved. And that's it, camera controls. Okay, we're nearly there, actually. We're nearly there. So, let's go into our roster screen. Now, here we go. Here are our brothers, our starting 3 brothers. The starting ones, I believe, are all going to have the background of companion, but generally, people can have all kinds of backgrounds, like farmer, you know, vagabond, beggar, all kinds of things. It's worth noting, when we go into combat, this will be the front line closest to the enemy. This will be the back line. This is for reserves. You'll notice in our particular situation, I say some starts change what you can have, but in our particular one, we can only have 12 men in formation. We can still put another, how many is this? 9 in backup, or 8? 8? 9? 9? We can, actually, I think, yeah, we can have a maximum of 20. So we could have 12 in here, and then we could have 8 backups here. But they won't join us in combat. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is take off everybody's gear. So let's just say, I don't know, shields there, weapons there. Just so that we can keep on top of it. Yeah, the starting gear depends on the start you've chosen. It might be random. Put the bolts there, right. But the first thing I want to talk about is the traits. Now, every character in general will have random traits, unless you've had like a specific start or something. But everybody you then go and hire will have random traits. So you always have a background that could come with a bonus, it would say at the bottom, or a negative, you know, like plus or minus X. Okay, so this guy has iron lungs, plus 3 fatigue recovery per turn. That's quite nice. We'll talk about fatigue. But that's kind of cool. And then we get to see their morale, which, again, similar to Mount and Blade, your morale will go up or down. You know, if lots of brothers been dying, so their morale's going down, or, you know, they're winning battles and got a lot of money, so they're good. If they haven't been paid or haven't been fed, the morale might go down. And when it's low, they might decide to just leave you. Okay. And then up here, you'll have the attacks for the weapon you've got. Obviously, we have no weapon, so we can only do a punch, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now I want to talk about the things down here. I know it looks like a lot. It's honestly not that bad. But I suppose we can... No, we can't click there. That's our experience, because, yes, soldiers level up, and then you can choose which stats to increase and choose perks for them. But their base stats will be random, you know, depending on who they are and what you've hired and so on. So let's talk about this. You've got head armor, self-explanatory. Body armor, hit points, yep. And then you've got action points, which is obviously for the turn-based combat. Let's say, you know, if we've got an attack that costs 4 action points to do, well, we've got 9, so we could attack twice in a turn, presuming we didn't move, because moving costs action points. Then we've got fatigue. Now, this is fatigue. So, fatigue, over time, each thing you do, whether it be move or attack, will build up fatigue. Once you max out on fatigue, you can't do anything. And then over every turn, you know, the fatigue will lower a bit. And then you could do something. But maybe instead of attacking twice, you can only attack once, unless you wait a few turns for the fatigue to go down, or if you've got some other way of reducing their fatigue. Their maximum fatigue level, obviously you can increase it through leveling up, but it will be decreased by certain things. Like, look at this armor. Maximum fatigue -6. Because if you're carrying heavy gear, your fatigue level is, you know, you've got less capacity for fatigue, you're going to get tired quicker. Okay, obviously morale, we've talked about, but you can see at the bottom a list of morale checks for things that will either increase or decrease. Killing an enemy, seeing an enemy be killed, we'll obviously check if we want to increase morale. Seeing an ally be killed or seeing an ally run away, you know, chance to decrease morale, quite self-explanatory. Now, resolve links in with morale, because the higher your resolve, the less likely you are to, you know, run away. Start being, you know, it gives you a better defense against things that will make you panic and you know, be feared or mind controlled and such. So resolve is actually quite important, because you don't want people fleeing. Okay, initiative, quite simply, if you've got more initiative, you're more likely to go early in the turn order each time, because when it determines the order of the turns, everybody takes their action in that order, which is shown at the bottom of the screen, and then it re-rolls to see what the next turn order is going to be. So initiative will obviously help a lot with that. Although, obviously, as you can see in the description, fatigue actually reduces your initiative as well. So that's why fatigue is really important. Because A, it lets you not do anything, and B, you won't be going up very early on in turns because it will reduce your initiative if you've maxed out fatigue. Okay, right, and then we've got actually the fighting things. So melee skill, quite simply, chance to hit. Ranged skill, same thing but for ranged. Then you've got melee defense, like chance to not be hit, basically. You know, just your chance to avoid hits in whatever way. Same for ranged defense. Damage, now this will change based on your weapon, so it's only 5 to 10 at the moment, but you know, if I go and equip this woodcutter's axe, you'll see it'll go up to 35 to 70. You'll also notice my fatigue went down to 88 because this is heavy. There we go. And my initiative, look, 109, 95. So that is worth considering. Okay, effectiveness against armor as a percentage. Chance to hit head, chance for a headshot, again, could vary depending on what you've got equipped. Obviously, effectiveness against armor just shot up because I put the axe on. And finally, vision, which is A, vision into Fog of War, but also the range that you can shoot if you're having a ranged attack. Right, now that we've gone through all that, did we look at everybody else's perks? And we didn't. So you had Iron Lung, so you can see extra recovery per turn on fatigue is pretty good, now that you know what fatigue is. This guy doesn't actually have anything. And this guy has Survivor. Has a 90% chance to survive if struck down and not killed by a fatality. So that's quite good. Right then. So, first of all, we know, like, if you're going to gear everybody up, in general, we're going to say, well, we'll have the crossbowman at the back and the two other guys in front. You know, pretty standard. It's worth noting there are a couple of weapons, like pitchforks and kind of long polearms. Not a basic spear, but a long polearm that have a range of 2. So they can actually stand behind and then poke people over the top, which is pretty good. So, who wants our crossbow? It's going to be whoever has the best ranged attack. And I realise I forgot to talk about something now that we can say. It's going to be Cunibert. We're going to say Cunibert as the highest range attack, but also he's got these stars. Now, when you level up, it rolls dice for all the stats you can increase, and then it shows you what the increase is. So like +2, +3, +4, +5, whatever. And if you've got stars, kind of, it's almost like an affinity, you know, or a passion for that, then it's more likely to roll higher in that stat, which is good. So don't worry, we'll go into it and we'll see what happens when you level up, and then we'll look at the perks when we level up as well, probably. Everybody has the same perk tree, by the way, except potentially the WoW classes because they are custom built. But all general base game soldiers, mercenaries, whatever, have the same perk tree. But obviously, there's quite a lot of different directions you can go in with it. You do have to have at least 1 point in a row to go down to the next row. You know, I can't immediately come down here. However, you can put multiple skill points in each row. Although if I put 2 in the first row, I still can't jump straight to the third one. I still have to put a point into the second row. Hopefully that makes sense. Right then, so where were we? You're the crossbow man, so let's give you a crossbow. Let's give you your bolts. So you've got 10, and each battle we can refill that out of our ammunition count. We've only got 2 pieces of head armor, and since he's going to be at the back, I'm not going to be too... This is awkward, isn't it? Which side do we want to guard? I guess we'll just put them like that. I'm not too fussed about giving him the head armor because he's at the back. And we'll give him the worst armor. So pretty much with the armor, you take into account the fatigue, but it's just the durability of the armor there that we're looking at. So 35 is the worst one we have. 35 is actually pretty good for a start, but generally your starting characters are a bit more powerful than the kind of duffers that you will pick up, you know, generally. So that's him sorted. Now, let's make somebody a bit... I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Now, you see melee defense of 10. That's quite good. His is only 4. Now, he has got a little bit of passion for it, but he's got a much higher attack and passion for an attack. Actually, he doesn't have a higher attack. But, generally, what I'm going to do is specialize... Actually, this guy also has lower health, but he's got a bigger defense. He does have passion for health. I'm thinking I'm going to... Obviously, this is up to you. It depends. You can look and decide what to do. I'm going to make this guy, if he survives, a little bit tanky. I'm going to give him the shield, is basically where I'm coming from. And we'll give him the best armor. And we'll see if we can keep him alive. He's got matching armor, that's nice. And then this guy, we're going to go ahead and give the woodcutter's axe, and we'll try and level up attack and just have him be some kind of crazy berserker man. We do have a knife, and what I should do is, if I go back on the crossbow, is if I give him the knife as a secondary weapon, because if somebody comes into melee, he can at least switch and then hit them with the knife. It does cost action points to switch weapons, unless you have Quick Hands perk, which is, you know, a perk you can get. Basically, it doesn't cost any action points to switch once a turn your weapons, which is cool. Right, I think we're done. This is our food. You'll notice we had 50 provisions. That is because we've got 50 grain. And we've got some bandages. Tell you what, we'll give some bandages to the Crazy Axe Man, which should quite simply give you the ability to heal in combat. Right. The attacks, by the way, vary based on weapon and what you've got equipped. I won't go through them all because it'll bore you to death. But like, this is like you can just read what they do. You can see that one costs 6 action points, builds up 15 fatigue each time you do it. It can inflict that much damage, inflicts that much damage to armor, and it hits both the head and the body because it's like a chop with the axe from head to toe. And then he's also got a round swing, so he can hit up to 6 targets around him by spinning in a circle, but will do friendly fire. And then he's got split shield, because it's an axe, you know, you can split a shield, and then obviously the bandage we just gave him. Whereas this spear, we take the shield off. The spear has a thrust and a spear wall, which is almost like a counter-attacking stance. So whenever someone comes near you, you just poke them. It's almost like Overwatch in XCOM, you know? Once somebody comes in range, you just immediately hit them. And then because we have a shield as well, he's got a knockback with the shield and shield wall, which is, as you can see, just grants him some extra defense for the next turn. But you still have to be a bit careful, because you might think, oh, well, if I'm not going to attack, I'm going to put the shield wall on. But look, it builds up 20 fatigue. So if you just sit there shield walling, by the time you want to attack, you'll have no fatigue left. Because he only has 78, because we've put this kind of heavy armor on. But that's how it is. Right, we've finally got to the end of that, I think. So without further ado, let's go into the town. So I'm going to unpause with spacebar. I'm going to click on the town. And I'm going to go to 2-speed, because we're in mountains. You can see there's other buildings around. They are relevant, and it lets you see what kind of things might be in the town. But, you know, basically you have to go to the town centre. Now, every town will have this, a bunch of men for hiring. You can quickly see how many men, well, not exactly, but they'll show less men here if there's less options. And every town will have a marketplace, which is a generic shop. The other buildings depend on the town, what's been built, what's happened, and so on. So you never know what you're going to get at each town. In this case, we've got a tavern where we can just literally buy our men some drinks, be more expensive if we've got more men, and that raises morale. We can also get rumours and information. We'll get one for free, which might be useless. In this case, it's literally just a pointless tip about not double-crossing your employers, but sometimes it'll be a useful piece of information about a place, and you could pay money to get more news and info. Okay, we've also got a temple, which is literally for better healing certain things. We've got a barber, which is purely customizing the looks of your men, if you want to do that. And finally, we've got an armorer, which is like a more specialized armor shop, obviously. With more varied armor pieces, usually higher level armor pieces. You can see these are quite expensive. 819 that cost. We've only got 2,900. There's some shields. We could buy some shields. And so on. But hey, in general, your bread and butter will be the marketplace and the hiring little area. Up here we have the contracts, which are missions, which we will take. So first of all, we need some more bodies. So here we go. The hiring screen. You can see their background. It's also over here once you click them. So this guy's a militia. This guy's a brawler, wild man, beggar, you know, disowned noble, and so on. You cannot see their traits at the moment. Now, you can see their traits when you hire them, or you can pay this fee with tryout, and that will just reveal their traits. So if you want to check somebody first, you can pay some money to see what their traits are. Now, at the very beginning, what I'm interested in doing is just hiring the relatively cheap people to get some bodies. So this guy costs 80. He only wants 4 coins a day, which isn't bad. He's a beggar. He's probably terrible. But let's hire him. We're going to hire this 120 guy, who's a brawler. What else have we got? The 130 guy. Let's get him. And I might even get the 200 as well. Who is he? Messenger. And I think we'll leave it there for the moment. Now, the first thing we're going to do is go in here. We hired 4 people. Yep, these 4. First thing I'm going to do is take off all their equipment, and then we'll reallocate it. And normally, you'll end up with a whole bunch of equipment, you know, in your stock, because you'll just be carrying loads around, looting it, and whatever. Right, well, they've brought a load of crap, look. You can see what I mean now. This literally has 5 armor. 20, 20, and 20 is not bad. 30 is okay on that hat. And a wooden stick, which is not amazing. 15 to 25 damage. I mean, that said, this spear only does 25 to 30. So it's not, like, awful, but it doesn't do anything particularly well. It's not, like, good against armor or anything. It's just a very simple stick. Right, let's have a look through what they've got. Okay, he's obviously a beggar, which is fine. Doesn't really do anything. Just a little bit of story. Fear of beasts. So he has less resolve. Minus 10 resolve when in battle with beasts. It's kind of spooky. He's got iron lungs as well, though, which is really cool. Extra fatigue recovery. And then obviously his morale. That's Hasso. Let's have a look at Erwin. Erwin has nothing. But he's a brawler. And now you can see this one has plus 100% damage when unarmed. Now that feels a bit spooky and dangerous. I feel like we kind of want to level him up before we let him be unarmed. But for the sake of argument, maybe we'll leave him unarmed for the moment. Okay, and we've got Burkhard, who is a cripple. And that means that he's always content with being in reserve. He won't lose morale by sitting on the sidelines. And a Spartan. He's got a Spartan trait, which means he finds no joy in eating and will use less provisions, as well as not leaving you as fast should you ever run out of provisions. So that's kind of cool. That's handy. And even though he's a cripple, it doesn't seem to affect his combat stats. And then finally we've got Alwyn the Messenger, and he has no perks, which is kind of surprising. Usually you have a few more negative perks on people. Right, so in general now you look at them. You go, okay, what's their resolve like? 37's not amazing. Fatigue, okay, 108. 59 health. Defense, not amazing, but not terrible to start with. Let's see what else we have. Because bear in mind, like as soon as you put like a shield on or whatever, look, like I have here for Kunold, it just takes that into account. These are not just the character stats, they update based on what you have equipped, which is part of the reason you want to unequip new people, so that you can just look at as a base level where they're at. So they're all kind of similar. I mean, he's got 59 health is a lot. Like this guy only has 45. This guy has 40. He's got quite high melee skill, although terrible melee defense. Right, he's got that kind of, I don't even know what to call these stars. There's probably a word for it. We'll call it affinity. Why the hell not? He's got a nice affinity for fatigue though, which is kind of cool, and initiative. So he could be doing something. I mean, he'll be probably just damage based and not really bother with defense, which is a bit risky. But then here we've got something kind of similar, although he does have some affinity for defense, so we could have something nice. He has 63 health as well, which is really high for a start. Like, he's only got 57, 65, 58. Those guys are quite good. But yeah, so the next thing, before we bother equipping them, we will now go to the marketplace and see what we can get. So, obviously you've got trade goods and stuff, but yeah, there is crafting. There is a taxidermist building in some cities where you can craft. But yeah, we can get some food. Maybe we should get some more food now. It's not too expensive. Oh, and you can also notice on the items, it says what it's worth and then what you're going to buy it for. So you can judge whether this particular town has good value. Now, certain events, like they're being terrorized by bandits that you could get a contract to kill, well, while they're being terrorized, the prices might be worse or, you know, whatever. But it's worth noting. We'll buy some more food, I think. Tools we can buy, as I talked about, but that's not a great price. And ammunition we can buy. But we're not interested in that right at this moment. Can we get some decent armor? The percentage is the durability. So a lot of things, if they're damaged, they'll be cheaper. And you'll have to spend tools to fix them up. And that's up to you if you think it's worth it. Maybe we'll buy another straw hat, 72. I'm okay with that. These are quite good, 50. And only 120 is not the worst price. 239, that's quite... I don't want that good armor at the beginning. Maybe we'll get another tunic with 30. 25, we'll have to fix it, but it's only costing us 40. I'm kind of down with that. Where does that leave us in terms of armor? What have we got then? We've got a 25, a 30, a 20. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it like that for now. We won't bother with the 5 and one of the 20s. Whoopsie daisy, and we'll equip these. So we've got a 30, which I might put on that guy. The guys with the... I mean, it's up to you how you play. You might decide to put people with lower health in better armor to try and keep them alive. Or you might say they're more expendable. He does have iron lungs, though. So just for the sake of this little tutorial, let's decide to put better armor on him. Well, let's decide we don't really care what we do with these guys, but it's up to you what you do. Let's get some hats. So we could do with a couple more hats if going. Are there any hats going? Yes. Do I want to pay that much? I mean, this isn't bad. We only have to pay 35. We do have to repair it, but not a ton. Let's grab that. And let's grab one of these as well. And then, yes, we'll have to repair. You'll notice if I equip it, it puts that little hammer there, which says it's designated to be repaired with our tools. We can Alt right click and then designate things in the inventory to be fixed. If we want to, let's say we loot something and we don't need to equip it right now, but we want to get it fixed up for next time or whatever. But we're going to equip these anyway. And I'm not going to... Normally I would be a bit more careful about who I'm equipping what on and make a decision or blah, blah, blah. And maybe I'd get a hat for Kunibert, but I'm not going to. Right then. That primarily leaves us with weapon problems because we have one bat. Now, okay, let's just say we're going to leave the brawler unarmed for fun. So we need 2 more weapons at least if we're going to use the bat. So what weapons have we got here? Throwing spear, interesting. Does it tell us how many we can have per battle there? It doesn't. I mean, it's only cost 96. Should we get one? I think we will. Or you can only use it once, maybe? Oh, it's destroyed on use. If it's destroyed on use, does that mean we can't even replace it with ammunition? Possibly. Possibly. I might give it to our unarmed guy for fun then. And then he can throw it first and then he'll become unarmed. But anyway, that was a waste of money. What do we got? Oh, there's some like bundle of javelins. Now they will replenish. There you see. Contains ammo for 5 units. Uses. They will replenish. Anyway, there's not a good selection here, you know. There's literally like 1 shield. We can go get a shield from the other place. But it's not great, is it? We could get a knife. Tell you what, we'll get a pitchfork, even though it's quite damaged. We'll get a bludgeon. Quite good against armor, look. 75% effective against armor. 20 to 35 damage. We'll get that. That's very expensive. And then, do I want to equip the bat or not? 15 to 25. Would we be better off buying a knife? Not really. I guess we'll just keep the bat for now. I'm going to buy this shield. Let's equip this stuff. Who's got the highest attack? You do. So I might give you, like, the bludgeon. And a shield, I think, actually. And then... who am I going to give the pitchfork to? In fact, maybe I should have been given the pitch... no, because you have decent... actually, do you? You have pretty bad defense. So actually, I've changed my mind. Let's give you the pitchfork. We're going to put you in the back line. Because, as I talked about, that has a range of 2 tiles. Don't worry. We'll see. We're nearly there, I promise. Defense-wise... you have quite high defense. Let's give you a bit of a tanky boy. Load out, and then you could just have the bat. I mean, I should. Okay, how expensive is a shield? Because there was another shop, the armorer here. We could get. In fact, I'll tell you what. Let's not use that other shield. Let's buy a couple of these ones. You get plus 15 defense to both melee and ranged, and they have 24 durability. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I mean, in general, if you see cheap shields at the start, I'm tempted to pick some up, like even spare ones. See, this one only gives +10 and +5, so it's not as good. Granted, it doesn't take as much fatigue. We'll keep that shield spare then. I guess we'll put you like here. Actually, no. Let's put you on the crossbow side just to keep that a bit safer. The brawler can be helped by by the pitchfork man. Right. So now that we've gone over all that and taken far too long for a tutorial, let's have a look at the contracts. Now, obviously, you can read all this, and you would normally. But for the sake of argument, it looks like there's thieves. Look, the thieves who took it. So we've got to track down some thieves that took something. So we go, let's talk pay. 400 crowns when the contract is done. Now, you can haggle, and sometimes it'll work out, sometimes it won't. Let's say we need to be paid more for this. And he says, let's get this over with quickly. Here's my new offer, 420. We go, okay, I accept. However, you haven't fully accepted yet. So you can see, follow the tracks, return the staff back to the city, you'll get 420. Now, if I say, I need some time to think about this, you'll see it keeps that one open, and we can go look at the other one. Okay. Okay, so what are you saying? Okay, so he wants us to watch his caravan. So we travel with the caravan for 2 days. 2 days is quite a long time, and then we'll get 780 crowns. Worth noting, provisions, i.e. food, will be given to us for those 2 days, but not wages. Bear that in mind. We'll still be paying wages for 2 days. So if you're low on money and you can't afford to pay your men during the escort, you know, be a bit careful. But for the moment, we'll leave that one, and we'll grab the one to follow the tracks. If we do take like a caravan escort, the moment we click leave, I'll pause for a second, but we would just get taken off with the trade caravan, and it would automatically go towards wherever it's going. And if we get ambushed, then obviously you will be there to defend. You don't always get ambushed, but there we are. So let's go and do some combat, shall we, to round out the tutorial. We are going to follow the tracks to the south. You can see them already. Look, here they are. I assume it's not those ones. And return the staff. So let's see how we get on. Let's go this way. So, oh, there they are, the thieves. Now, there is 7 of them. We only have 7 men, and we're kind of poorly equipped. So I'm a little bit worried. So do you know what I'm going to do, actually? Because I actually expect we might lose that. I'm not sure how strong thieves are. They're not that strong, for sure. But I might just see if there's another town fairly nearby where we can recruit some more cheap men, is what I'm thinking. There we go. Oh, there is. Nice. Lida's home. There's a caravan, by the way. Oh my goodness. See, they've only got a weaponsmith, a marketplace, and then we can hire. And you can see, well, here's one of those events. Disappearing villages. They've been disappearing. And no doubt, if we didn't already have a contract, we could take this one, and it would be to deal with some kind of menace. Okay, I'll tell you what. We'll hire both of these chaps then. Taylor. And what are you? Oh, another brawler. We leave you unarmed as well, just to be cheeky. Alright. Well, let's see what they've got. Here they are. Right, so you don't have anything. But you've come with 20 armor, so that's not bad. You, oh my goodness, swift, +5 range defense. And athletic builds up 2 less fatigue for each tile traveled. So that's only when you're moving fatigue. Okay, not bad though. This guy's pretty bad. I mean, he's got some attack, but he's got like no defense. This guy though does, and I might just give you that shield, and then we'll grab both of you a weapon of some description. Well, let's see what's available in the old shop. There is another pitchfork, so we can put somebody in the back. We don't have that much money, because, you know, we've got to pay wages. The sling is a ranged weapon where you have infinite ammo, because it just picks up stones. But it's kind of crap, if we're honest. What cheap weapons? I might take a knife, you know. I might take a knife and maybe these 2 cheap shields. Let's get 1 decent shield. And then maybe an axe, a hatchet, a cleaver. That's 25 to 40. That's not bad. A flail would be nice, but that's kind of expensive. Because a flail actually has an ability to try and hit over the top of somebody's shield, which is really good. I think we'll buy a hatchet, which does put us down in the money a bit, but that's okay. Right, let's go back to our roster here. We're going to give you that small shield and that dagger. We're going to give you the... Wait, you already had a shield. Am I dumb? Yeah, I guess I am. We'll give you a better one. Oh yeah, I already had that one, didn't I? Dummy. Okay, and then obviously, hopefully we can just fix up that shield. Give you that one. It's a higher percentage. We don't have any head armor, do we, for them? Any danger of some hats? Oh yeah, 51 and 76. We'll take it. It's not the most armor, 30 and 30. But it'll do. It'll do. We're starting out. Alright. Let's assume, obviously, you can put like trinkets and stuff here, ammo there, and things to swap with there, just so we're all clear. Hopefully now then, let's leave. Let's go back. Hopefully we can take on these thieves to round out the tutorial, which I'm having too much fun playing. I've got to start again yet for the next episode. So there's a trading caravan, as an example. We can attack trading caravans. We can, you know, declare war on people. Bit risky, though. Right, the thieves were down here somewhere, so I bet they're not too far away. There they are. They're running, which is probably a good sign. Probably a good sign. It's a new day dawns, day 2. Okay, as you approach, you catch a catch a group of brigands. Can't speak anymore. Anyway, blah blah blah. To arms. You can see if there's multiple kind of groups attacking or defending, they'll come up these sides. Many brigand thugs. Okay, here we are. As you can see, we've got our back line as expected and our front line. We have the stats available to us, AP, our armor, so this guy has no head armor, health, morale, and their fatigue. Worth noting, I believe if you skip a turn, I'm not 100% sure, but I think when you skip a turn, a wait turn, end turn. Oh, of course you can wait. No, I'm thinking a wait turn. If you push them to the end, then the following turn they're forced to have a later turn as well. In general, I just end turn when I'm done with somebody. Right. So obviously we have a crossbow. We can shoot when we hit number 1 for that, or click it. You can see that unfortunately that is the end of our range, so we can't hit anybody. So we can't do a damn thing. So we're just going to end his turn. Next up we have. Well, this guy who's actually got the throwing spear, but again, probably not enough range. That tree is blocking our sight a bit. You can show and hide trees, by the way, with that button up there. It's handy sometimes. And you can actually do this, which shows which tiles are blocked. Like, you can't stand or shoot through them, just if you need to see. Anyway, let's go through. We've got our knife person here. But we're not really going to do anything. We're going to let them come to us. As I talked about, I'm not going to shield wall because it's a waste of fatigue if they don't hit you on the very next turn. Okay, we've got our gentleman here. Like I say, I won't go through all the weapon skills. They do different stuff. Like this club, for example, has a bash, but also a stun, an attempt at a stun. You know, axes kind of chop through things. Especially big axes like this one, and then spears obviously poke, and they all do different things. And then the dagger can bypass armor. Some things are not very good versus armor, some things are. Okay, and then the last person on the turn is you, and now we're on a new turn. And thankfully our crossbow goes first, and we can now shoot. So I've pressed 1 to get my shoot, and then if I mouse over someone, I can see the percent chance to hit and what things are detracting from it. The thing detracting from this is that it's 4 away, and obviously 5 would be worse. And also this one, the line of fire is partially blocked. And you can see that little symbol over this guy. When I hover over this one, that means you've got a good chance of hitting them instead by accident. And that applies to friendlies. However, with ranged weapons, it seems like you can fire over one person cleanly. But if one of our allies was here, or we try and shoot somebody over here where there's a couple of allies in the way, we'll end up with a potential of hitting these, and you'll have that red symbol over them. Anyway, stop chuntering. Let's. We can't hit him because of the tree. Who's got the best chance? You guys have got 58%, so I think we'll just take one of you. Maybe the guy with the axe. And we do hit him. You'll notice what came above him was 3 bars. It's literally these 3 bars. Head armor, body armor, and health. And so we might hit the armor, we might hit the health, you don't know. So, we fired, it costs 3 AP to fire. But obviously, because it's a crossbow, we've now got to reload, which, as you can see, costs 4 AP. So we'll reload, and then we won't be able to fire again. So that's it for him. Right, we've got our throwing spear. Let's lob it. 48%. I think we'll take the 48. Oh, 100% chance to hit. Why? Is it because we're... I think what it is because we're aiming for him. We're guaranteed to hit one of these, I believe, is what we're saying. So let's go and try aim for this guy. Oh, no, it did hit him. Maybe it's because he's got a shield. It's quite possible that that throwing weapon is guaranteed to destroy someone's shield, which it looks like is what's happened. So anyway, that's fine. We'll end his turn. Shall we put the shields up now? Well, you don't have a shield wall with a dagger. You've only got a knockback. I don't think we will. I think we'll just chill. I'll tell you what, we'll do spear wall here. It does cost 30 fatigue though. And his does not have a lot. Tell you what, we won't. No, we won't. We won't. We'll just chill out, I think. That does mean they can probably move forward and stab some of them. Or he couldn't. No, they don't seem to have enough action points left by the time they get here, which is good. The snow probably affects that. Oh my goodness, your morale. You immediately went to wavering morale, look. Immediately, like before you even got hit. Look at that. So you can see the debuff. Because he's wavering. What an idiot. Right. Let's go after the guy with the axe, because that's spooky. So we're just going to do a normal bash. We miss. Might do another one. We could go for a stun, or a knockback, or shield wall. Should we try and stun him? No, let's go for damage. Oh, he's missed again. Okay, he tries to hit him and misses. Worth noting, there is a complete combat log here. So, Brigand Thud uses chop and misses, you know, and so on. Burkhart uses bash and misses twice, you can see. You can see the chance, and you can see what we rolled. Okay. So all that's available. You can also see whether it was a headshot or whatever. But in general, you don't really need to. Right, shall we... How much... He's got armor on. Should we try and bypass the armor with a puncture? Does that cost more fatigue? It does. It costs 20 fatigue. I tell you what, then no. Let's go for a normal stab. No, we'll go for a puncture first. We missed. Of course we did. So that costs 4 AP. We'll go for a normal stab. Oh, we got him. Nice. We took off half of his HP. And he's now wavering as well. You'll also notice he's got ripped ear. We must have hit him in the head. Yes, Brigand Thug's head is hit for 30 damage and suffers ripped ear. Look at that. Now, people can bleed and stuff as well. Oh, he's an unarmed guy. Punch him. He missed. Punch him again. He missed. Awesome. Let's hit with our axe. Nice. Took off half his HP. And his armor's falling apart. Look, his head armor's okay. But his body armor is falling apart. Okay, now we got our pitchfork. So we've got a pushback. Repel is a pushback. Can stagger people. But we're just going to go for impale, which is the basic attack. And we're going to reach over. Do we... Let's go for this guy, because I'm spooked by the big axe. Nice, good damage. We destroyed his armor if he had any. I don't think he did he? And he's wounded. Now, that did cost 6 AP, so we can't go again. Should we get a stab on? Doesn't really matter. Let's go for you. Oof, we did quite a bit of damage to the armor, but not much else. Go again. Okay, good. Good. What do we want to do here? Let's try and... This guy's already wounded. Oh, come on. Okay. Alright, big axe man. So if we did a round swing, look, as you can see, we would hit everybody around us, which is not good for us right now. We could do split shield, but nobody has a shield here. So we'll do a basic attack, 62%. We'll try and take this guy out. And we get it. Nice. You'll notice there were little symbols to indicate that these guys had morale down events, as it were. Okay, crossbow. So we can fire over one of our guys. But look, here we go. This is what I was talking about. A low chance to hit this one, and we might hit our own guy there or their guy. So in general, you want to fire at people further away, or just people that are 2 tiles away over the top of somebody. I think we'll go for this guy. You can see at the top of his armor, it says axe in 4 turns. So you can see how quickly they're going to be Well, this guy acts first, so let's try and kill him. Oh, we do! Nice. Okay, reload. Very nice kill there. Oh, he gets a stab in. Cut arm sinew. Okay. We're not bleeding, though. Oh, my goodness. That looked painful. Sprained ankle. Oh, my gosh. They're hitting everything. What is this? You can't just keep hitting us. Come on, guys. Fight back. Oh, he's running away. He's fleeing. That guy. Okay, fair enough. There is something... Oh, gosh. What's that game where this happens? I can't remember. It happens in Age of Wonders, I think. If you're in someone's zone of control, i.e. 1 hex away, if you try and move out of it, they do have a chance to hit you as you leave. Or they might stop you from leaving if they hit you even. So do bear that in mind. Oh, we're punching. It's not great against armor, is it? I guess that's probably why you want to give him a weapon, even though he gets a bonus to unarmed. Right. Let's have a go with the pitchfork. Far more effective. The brawling is not super effective. Let's go for another stab. No? Finally. Okay, we get a stab. And we'll shoot. These guys are kind of beat up. Let's try and kill this one. Oh, not quite. Grazed kidney. He's breaking, but he's not fleeing just yet. Reload. Oh, that hurt. We lost somebody. It was the melee guy. It was the brawler. We lost the brawler. Everyone's morale takes a slight hit. Okay, we can't reach anyone, so let's move. Each tile, you see it costs 3 AP to move and 6 fatigue because of the snow. It's usually 2 AP. And you'll, just so you know, even if you click 2 squares, it doesn't tell you the total. So it doesn't cost us 3 AP to move there. It's 3 each time. It doesn't total it up for you. Because when I first started playing, I was like, okay, it'll cost me 3 to move there. No, it's 3 there and 3 there. Do bear that in mind. So anyway, we can actually move here, though. And then still have 6 to use a chop. Oh, we missed. Oh, we killed him. Nice. Okay, let's move over to help this guy out. If we can. As far as we can go. Oh, nice. Blocked it with the shield. Hit him back. Is that what we want to do? He doesn't have a shield, does he? Oh, we got him. Beautiful. Let's move in here. Surround this guy. Because he's surrounded, it will also... You'll notice our chance to hit. We've got a plus underneath for surrounded. And we get him. Okay. Don't suppose we can chase this guy down. Probably not. Let's not even bother. We'll then leave you guys here. Yeah, he's going to leave. Oh, he escapes. The stab missed. Okay, now... Okay, they're in full retreat. We can either end it now, or we can run them down. Which basically carries it on. We'll just run them down for the sake of it. And maybe... Well, we're not going to reach them, though, are we? I'm wondering if the cross... Let's just go to the crossbow, man. Don't suppose you can... No one's in range. You'd have to move. Yeah, you'd have to move. Well, you can't fire. Oh, you can fire. Of course you can. You only cost you 3 to fire. Have a go. 45%. Oh, we get it. Nice. Okay, we're not going to get the other guy. That's fine. What we'll do is we'll end the round, which is all of your men end their turn. And no doubt he'll run off the map. Not yet. That's not the edge of the map. We just can't see it. Let's just keep going. We're not going to chase that one. Oh, it's so satisfying when you hit people with ranged. I don't know why. Let's end another round. He must be near the edge of the map. Obviously, there's fog of war in the map, so it is a bit bigger than we can see. It's not overly big, though. Okay, now he's gone. So, we can see that we lost Erwin, unfortunately. He did 13 damage with his fists. Not great. And he passed, unfortunately. Arnulf took 26 damage. 16 to hit points, 10 to armor. But he did get himself a kill. Did 125 damage, got 95 experience. So you can sort of see who got kills and stuff. Generally did well. Crossbow got 2 kills. Big fan of that. And also you can check people's injuries. So you've got light wounds, which is like the general HP damage. That will heal by tomorrow. However, he's also got a bruised leg. And as you can see, that'll give him that debuff. It won't reduce his health, but it will give him that debuff. So an extra action point to move each tile. Minus 20% initiative. But that will heal in 2 to 3 days, which is a little while. Here we've got light wounds that will take 2 days to heal, because it was worse. And he's got a sprained ankle, which is the same, basically. 2 to 3 days. Everybody else is okay. Okay, and now we go on to the loot. They didn't have a lot, did they? Unfortunately, sometimes they've got food, tools, lots of weapons and armor. We didn't get a ton out of that, but we'll take the woodcutter's axe. It's not bad. We'll just take it all. And now, after the battle, those who stole the ceremonial staff are dead, and thankfully you were able to find the item itself. Raban the merchant will be most pleased with your work here. Let's collect our pay. So now we'll go back to the town. If we look here, you can see we lost somebody. So just shift you over there. And these guys, you can see their injuries. The sprained ankle and the bruised leg, I'm not too fussed about. Because they're only little debuffs that aren't that terrible. So once they get over the wounds and recover their health, which at the moment is struggling, that'll be good. So like I talked about, we could camp. Well, that's also triggered our ambition, which is good, actually. So we have 2 ambitions to pick from in this situation. So forging a bond of friendship with one of the towns. And then as you can see, we will gain renown. Renown, it's called. And also have better relations. Or we could choose the one to set out into the wilderness, discover an unknown kind of Wizard's Tomb Goblin Camp or any other site, and destroy it, plunder it. So let's say we're going to do that one. But now that we're encamped, I think what it does is it has a chance to increase their healing to be better. Now, we will use some of our healing supplies, I assume. Let's just stay encamped for a little while. Okay, he's actually got over his wounds, but not quite the other bruised leg. However, you can see we've used some of our medical supplies. Anyway, let's go. But when you encamp, you'll fix things quicker, and you will potentially heal quicker. Okay, Raban the merchant grins as you enter. Sell sword, will you sell me word of your success? And obviously we have, so we get 420 crowns. And now away we go. We could check what the shops have, we could buy things, we can take other contracts, we can move around the map, discovering new towns with new missions, new things to do, new factions, all sorts of things. There's all kinds of monsters to fight, greenskins and just roaming brigands, undead things, lots of spooky werewolves and spiders. And I think that'll about do for a tutorial, really. I think you more than understand the basics now if you've made it this far. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think we've covered it. So, next episode, I will actually begin a new playthrough. I might play with a WoW class. I haven't yet decided. And, yeah, we'll move forward. So, that's Battle Brothers, guys. It's really fun, I promise you. I immediately, I was like, well, why don't I just play Mount and Blade instead? Right, when I heard about the game. But I was watching someone play it, and I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool. And then I tried it. And I just played it for about 5 hours straight. It's really fun. I know because I've been talking, it's been a bit slow paced, but generally, it's actually, you're in combat a lot. You know, you come back to town, you get your mission, you buy whatever goods you need quite quickly when you get used to it, you know. And you gear up your men, you just go, and you go into combat, and yeah, you fight. Now, the only thing we haven't looked at actually is leveling up. So, I mean, you'll see it in episode 1, I suppose. But literally, when you level up, it just shows the stats that you can level up. And they'll have a +2, a +3, a +4, a +5, or even a +1 beside them. And you can pick 3 of them, and then you'll pick a perk. And like, for example, perk, let's look at Colossus. 25% extra hit points. Very simple. You can also have fast adaptation, where every time you miss, you get an extra 10% chance to hit next time. You've got student, which is like extra experience from battle. So it's like a bit of a future beneficial perk. You just get to pick one each time you level up. I should just have showed you that before we bail out. But that is going to do it. So hopefully I will see you in episode 1. If I don't, no worries. Hopefully you at least have an interest in this game now. Definitely recommend it. Well worth a try. You don't have to get the DLC, but it is great. It does add things like the desert and stuff like that. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day wherever you are, and hopefully I'll see you next time.